Today on Up Front, the big question surrounding the Republican U.S. Senate primary. Is Madison businessman Eric Hovde in or out? I'll be asking him next on Up Front. Then why this could be the year of the woman in politics. Plus, the controversy over the possible elimination of some majors at UW-Stevens Point.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. Wisconsin, as you know, will have one of the top and possibly one of the most expensive U.S. Senate races in the country in 2018. But is the field of candidates set? On the Democratic side, incumbent Tammy Baldwin is unopposed for a second term. On the Republican side, there are currently two candidates, State Senator and nurse Leah Vukmir and Delafield businessman and Marine veteran Kevin Nicholson. They both have been running hard so far. But the question still hanging over the Republican primary is, what will Eric Hovde do? The Madison businessman ran in the 2012 Republican U.S. Senate primary and nearly won it. He's been weighing another bid, and we're asking him about his plans today right here on Up Front. Mr. Hovde, good to have you back on the program.
Nice to be here, Mike.
So what is your decision? What are you going to do about 2018?
Well, after wrestling with this decision for the last 6 months, I've decided not to run.
Not to run?
Not to run.
And why is that? What were the deciding factors?
Well, it was a number of different factors, to be honest with you, because when you look at running for the U.S. Senate, because I've done it before, you understand the impact it has on all aspects of your life. So, you know, your personal life, your professional life gets impacted tremendously. So on the personal side, my wife and I have had wonderful news that our oldest daughter is pregnant. And
congratulations.
Yeah. Getting a little choked up about that. You know, it's kind of a big thing. But it was you know, that's one thing that we looked at, that she's going to be giving birth right before the primary. I have somebody close to my family that got very devastating news from a health standpoint. Another, you know, impactful thing. But, you know, I just looked at a number of different factors. Professionally, I've been blessed by being able to start and build numerous companies, and I have wonderful colleagues. And the last time I ran, I saw the impact to my businesses. And I thought, okay, understand the implications there. My foundation, not only do we fund a lot of charities here in this state and in the country that are doing great things, but I have 7 Hovde homes around the globe. So, you know, when you put all those different factors together, and it really weighed on me, because on one hand, you know, I wanted to get into the race. I so desperately wanted to debate Tammy Baldwin because we have absolutely different philosophies. We may diagnose the problems of the patient in the same way, but our solutions are fundamentally different. I wanted to get in by dealing with a lot of these issues because our country has major problems. Some of them are being addressed, but a lot of them are not, both economically and culturally. But when I looked at it, for my life right now and my wife, we just finally, after a lot of prayer and a lot of discussion, said it's just not the right time for us at this point in time.
A lot of people thought you were going to get in the race. Is this a decision that was recently arrived at?
On Sunday. We had been wrestling with it. I kind of made the decision the week before. And then my wife and I said, let's rest with that decision. Let it sit, and then we will get together and just reflect on it on Sunday and talk.
So this has nothing to do with, by the timing that you just mentioned, this had nothing to do with Rebecca Dallett's victory, whether you're looking at this could be a tough year for a Republican candidate in a November election, that there's a potential that there's more enthusiasm on the Democratic side. That had nothing to do with the decision?
Well, the decision was made before that. Clearly, when the results came out on Tuesday, I'm like, that's interesting. But no, the decision was made before that. As I said, it was almost a full week and a half before, and then we finalized the decision on Sunday. So I didn't know the results of it, but I clearly paid attention. And look, you're always looking at the political climate, and yeah, this could be a tough political climate for Republicans. But you got to remember, I jumped into a race against a four-time governor, most popular governor, Mark Newman, who was a congressman, ran for the Senate, ran for the governor. Jeff Fitzgerald, who is Speaker of the Assembly, his brother was Senate Majority Leader. So I'm not afraid of getting into a tough race. And let me say, there was one other really impactful event. And that was about a month ago, 3 weeks or a month ago, I forget the date, when they were passing that spending bill that I found just disgusting. As you know, the last time I ran, my big issue was the debt and what we're doing and what we're doing to our future generations. And to sit there and watch them pass that and watch Rand Paul standing on the Senate floor saying, what are we doing? We ran as a party against this kind of spending under Obama for 8 years. We've been opposed to this, and now we're going to go along passing a spending bill that is no different. And I sat there and thought to myself, am I going to spend the next 6 years of my life standing on the Senate floor making that argument where nobody listens? Maybe I wait and run at some point in the future when the country's dealing with these problems and has to address them.
So you haven't ruled out a future run completely. But the other question I have for you, will you endorse in this race?
Leah was a big supporter of mine last time. The one thing about Leah, I know she and I view most of the issues very similar. Kevin, I just don't know that well. There's some issues that cause me a bit of concern, but, you know, I want to give him a fair hearing. I want to, you know, analyze how both their campaigns. So I'm not going to endorse today.
Give it some time.
Yeah.
And there is time left. Eric Hovde, the Madison businessman who is not running for the U.S. Senate in 2018. Thanks very much for being on the program today.
It's great being here, Mike.
I appreciate it. Coming up later, no majors in English, Spanish, or history at a four-year UW campus. I'll be asking the chancellor of UW Stevens Point about the controversial changes that could be coming to his campus. But first, the meaning of Rebecca Dallett's big win and why this might be a good year for women running for office.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company.